Hello guys, this is Nikki, you also known as Faces Trader, and you're watching the January 7, 2021 Philippine Market Update. Let us begin. Let's go to the platform right now, FloatSec. You could see that the Philippine market is now up 71 points or up 1%, 7,119 points, a recovery from yesterday's sell-off. You could take a look at the index stats today. And it was a reversal of many names such that we are seeing some bargain hunting after several days of profit taking. When you take a look at the top traded, Dito Telecom is up 3%. So your main value traded still remains your Dito, Asen, Merrimart, APL. You could see that they're all trading quite in the high zones. Dito is 12.7, Asen is trading 8.95, APL is trading at 0.192, Merrimart is trading at 7.4. There are a couple of new strong movement in your top traded names. You could see that Ore and PHR are actually now trading with about 330 million pesos and 142 value traded for your Ore, which was a few days ago, not as high as that. Although PHR was already showing signs that some casinos were actually able to break. So PHR was able to break some 3.5, tried to even reach as high as 360 plus, but it's still trying to still weather that resistance at 360 to 370. PHA managed to still stay strong, now trading at 141. This is actually stronger than expected, and you could see that the market is still trying to stay afloat despite frothy valuations, despite extensions. Similarly, you could see a 16% gain on tech and about 12% gain on AR. So you are seeing that there is a lot of people that continue to be on the bull side rather than taking profits. Yeah, so we are seeing people actually buying up the market and quite a reversal from your reopening themes. Take note that your 630 Macro Asia is now trading at 6.9. Meanwhile, your Cebu Pacific managed a 6% rise to about 49 pesos. Meanwhile, your Nickel Asia and your FNI are all both strong. As you could see, FNI trades at 311, Nickel Asia trades at about near 6. So in general, the Philippine market is actually strongly elevated levels. Very strong movement despite elevated levels. So this is typical because usually when volatility and froth is around, it's not a way down. It's not a straight way down. Neither is it a straight way up. There's going to be a lot of bull and bear tug of war even in a volatile up move. Market value is 8.43 billion. 159 advancers, 72 decliners, foreign net selling negative 680 million. This is a reversal from yesterday's from maraming losers. Today, you've got quite a lot of gainers. Although I would say that the gainers in the index are not as huge as the other reopening themes and other battered names. So take a look. Let's read a few things. Your BDO recovered 7%, 99 to 107. Your Ayala Corp is now trading at 828. Your Metro Bank is now trading at 47.45. Take note that the financials as a whole has really risen to this occasion. BDO and Metro Bank 107 and 47.45. Your BPI trades at 82.9. ICT trades about 126. Aboitiz Equity Ventures trades at 47. Robinson's Land trading at 22.2. That is another, it's not an all-time high, but that is quite a higher extension move. GT Capital now trading at 540. We are seeing some bargain hunting action when GT Cap fell down to 520 plus. Security Bank trades at 128.4. SM Prime now trades at 39. Mega World 4.1. DMC 5.5. AGI 9.9, EP 2665, FGen 2885, MPI 422. We're going to read the news flow on MPI about the NLEX SLEX. Your Pure Gold is now trading at 38.9. Globe stays afloat at 2,000. Luciatan Group 13 bucks. URC 155. Emperador still 10. San Miguel Corp 130. Bloomberry still at 8. Meralco still at 297. Robinson's Retail 6275. Jollibee trades at 192.6, your telephone 1350, Ayala Land 40.7, JG Summit 71, SM 1034. So you could see that the index in general is quite muted except for the financials. So let's take a look as well on some of the stats. This one is something that you would look at in the top gainers. In today's top gainers, you could clearly see that Ore is actually some of the biggest top gainers of the day, initially even hitting a ceiling price for the day only to succumb a little. But the fact that it remains 40% above and the top gainer of the day still merits a bit of a discussion. And so you could also see that the top gainers are usually a lot of penny stock names. You are seeing AR continue with 12% up. You've seen some other than that. You've got, so your Macro Asia is 6.9, your Green is 285, a continuation, your APL. And so PHA is 141, Cebu Pacific, your SSI managed to rebound at 154. And so today is actually a very strong day in the Philippines. It is actually perhaps, I'm not sure if this has to relate with the Democrats winning last night, which actually triggered a White House Capitol movement. Take note, in the US, there are a few supporters of Trump who actually stormed ahead in the White House. These protesters stormed in White House Capitol, and they are protesting about the elections. So FBI is now calling for help identifying the people who are storming Capitol. So last night, yesterday, Trump incited mob, vandalizes the U.S. Capitol. I just wanted you to see from a few shots what exactly transpired yesterday. You could see that this is what happened. So there were a lot of Trump rallyists who actually stormed Capitol. And then for just news, yes, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have already signed for divorce. And when the Democrats actually won, could see that legalization of marijuana was very strong gains last night in the cannabis sector, especially with the clean energy sector. So this strength of movement with the Biden administration, I'm not sure if it had a reason to be the reason why PSEI is jumping today. But in fairness to the ones that jumped today, it has been mostly mining sector. And I feel as if, in fairness, almost all the mining stocks abroad have been, like specifically nickel and gold, they've been okay. So it's still in an uptrend. You could see that Nickel Asia is still in an uptrend. Your FNI is still in an uptrend. So it actually is a surprise why Ore would break out. But if it's just because the mining sector, could see that from an index standpoint, the strongest movement actually came from the mining sector and the financials. So financials and the mining sector. So when you take a look at the mining sector, you've got your PHLX, you've got those index movers, and take a look at this, MO, Nickel Asia, Semirara, PHLX Mining, FNI, PXP, CPM, and APX. So the market truly were actually paying for your nickel, for your Nickel Asia. Yun. Then from a financial perspective, almost all of them, particularly BDO and Metro Bank, and your East West was even up today at 11.1. So yun. Then yun lang. Parang it was just more of a rebound day in my view. From an all-share standpoint, the biggest gainers are still penny stocks and extended names na rin yan eh. So yun. From a perspective, ang nakita nating news was the Ayala REIT. The Ayala REIT actually acquired Laguna Techno Park. Let's read this news. Ayala Land REIT ventures into the industrial space leasing, shared 8 hours ago. They're buying 9.8 hectares of land in Laguna Techno Park for 1.1 billion pesos. This land is being leased by electronics manufacturer, a subsidiary of Ayala, which is IMI, for the next 7 years. This land was sold by Techno Park Land. Acquisition price is value-added tax inclusive. So IMI is already the leader in global manufacturing and tech solutions, a listed subsidiary of Ayala Corp, and the parent conglomerate of REIT sponsor and controlling stockholder, Ayala Land Inc. Laguna Techno Park is a 471-hectare premier industrial park spanning ports of Binyan and Santa Rosa in Laguna, currently managed by Ayala Land Logistic Holdings, a unit of Ayala Land, which is all HC. The acquisition of this land will directly contribute to Ayala REIT's income starting this month, according to the earnings generated by the company's existing buildings. They will deliver stable and regular dividends and strengthen its potential for capital appreciation. Together with the acquisition of Ayala's 30th commercial hub in Pasig City, this will now bring about Ayala REIT's portfolio to 344,000 square meters of leasable space, double its portfolio of 171,000 square meters when it just went public 5 months ago. The latest acquisition is seen to bring up Ayala REIT's total property value to 37 billion pesos. Aside from being value accretive to investors, our REIT's assets promote job creation for Filipinos. We are a home to top local and global companies employing over 50,000 workers, including this newly acquired land where over 5,000 jobs are generated. AREIT aims to conduct a follow-on offering by 2022 to achieve a 10 to 12% shareholder return in the next 3 years through a mix of organic expansion and new acquisitions based on its 3-year investment strategy. It has committed to grow its asset portfolio in terms of sector, location, and income contribution, funding it through 30% or even 35% leverage or equity so that they could maintain their leadership in the Philippine REIT sector in terms of asset size and market cap. So far, this is the only REIT to list on the PSE, although a few other companies have indicated plans to pursue the same path. Its sponsor, Ayala Land, owns 54%, while the rest is held by the public. They are distributing 90% at least of its distributable income from properties with strong tenant demand in its portfolio, in income-generating assets, etc. to fund yun. Basta, it's an AREIT. For those who aren't not aware, an Ayala REIT will just pay you about 4%, maybe 12% if you hold on to it. Kasi 4% a year, 4 to 5% a year. Add to the part that the capital could appreciate. So this is your Ayala REIT. It's just stable. Stable lang yan. I think the IPO was about 28. So nandyan lang siya. Tama ba? Ayala REIT IPO listing price 27 per share. So yan. So you got the dividend and then it's up about nearly 10%. So yun na yun. Kumbaga tulog na yan. Could move in about 10 to 20% range, but that's about it. What else? So MPI, let's discuss about the NLEX, SLEX. This has been just stable. You could see that it has recovered from the March lows in the last couple of months. But it has been just a stable entity, no? Nandiyan siya, 228, 428. After being bought out, my buyback program from 360, 3.6 below, Metro Pacific has been steady for quite a few months. So let's read a few things about what MPI, NLEX, and SLEX news are. The connector project. So let's see the latest news about this. Disclosure filed by MPI in relation to the press on the NLEX SLEX connector. All. Just go to significant events. The news in the Philippines is listed naman within MPI's website. Go to the all. Wala dito. Edge na lang. MPI. News muna. Disclosures. Acquisition, disposition, press releases. Okay, let's read this. You could see na they were buying back a lot when the market was very low. It was being bought at about even as high as 4. Pero it started near mga 3 to 360. So may support yung MPI dun sa levels na yun. Just like AGI, may support sa mga 6. Yan. Acquisition of shares. Please see attached press release. This is an agreement with MGen for the sale by BPHI of 56%. This is the leading power producer outside in the Visayas, Mindanao region. Taking into account the value and assets of global business power. GBP ba to? Baka yun, no? Ano ba? Tagal na yata to. It's a leading power producer outside Luzon. So they got some 20 pesos, 80 cents per share terms of the payment. So yun. They got the shares, they have an effective 45% ownership. Meralco Power Gen has ownership. Yun. JG Summit owns 30% of the outstanding shares. So they sold a little. So yun. This was the disposition of Global Business Power by Beacon Power Gen Holdings, a subsidiary. Yun. They took some assets out to cash. Ano pa? December 9, addition of PSCPC into a new industry. So MPIN Keppel Fund is entering a sale and purchase agreement with Macquarie Infrastructure for the acquisition of Philippine Tank International Holdings. They're owning a Philippine coastal storage and pipeline located in Subic Bay. They're the largest petroleum product import terminal in the Philippines. They will hold a 20% stake, which will acquire 100% interest stake for $67 million. Discussing giving MPIC an option to increase its interest up to 50%. So this acquisition would be a largest independent storage facility with about 6 million barrels, 86 storage tanks. So, oil-related to? Kasi mga storage tanks. Parang ganun. The purchase price is less than 10% of the assets of MPIC, independent storage facility with approximately 6 million barrels, 2 piers, pipeline infrastructure, diversify themselves into a new revenue stream with a strong vertical potential. Philippine tanks, coastal. Not aware much, but yun. Pero more of the news talaga sa NLEX. Ito yung pinakamaugong news sa Philippines, the Christine Dacera case. So, it's insufficient evidence in the Dacera case. Teka lang, go to the business. Government debt still swelling to 10 trillion pesos. Inflation hitting a 22-month high. Paymaya leads the way to a cashless Philippines in 2020 and beyond. Toyota announces car maintenance week. Digital government takes off using Paymaya's cashless platform. I think that this is a very good news for PLDT, actually. For those who aren't aware, PLDT is the Paymaya. Probably we read this, the digital government, this one, the leading the way of Paymaya. This is an advertisement editorial. Take note that as Filipinos turn to cashless payments, Paymaya is leading the way in making a more inclusive and accessible cashless ecosystem for the Philippines a reality. They're ending the year with 28 million customers across the platforms to remit in over 200,000 touchpoints nationwide. On top of its popular Paymaya app and wallet, it powers all kinds of enterprises for e-commerce and everyday transactions. Likewise, it's expanding its Smart Padala network to over 30,000 agent touchpoints nationwide, allowing even the farthest reaches of the country to conduct transactions such as remittance, bill payments, mobile prepaid load, and even QR payments. As a result of this inclusive ecosystem approach, total digital payment transactions processed by Paymaya has tremendously grown as more sectors of the society adopt cashless payments. No other fintech has built this exclusive. Actually, the other only fintech I would say would be, aside from Paymaya, would be GCash in the Philippines. There are more, but I think they are the top two. The radical shift to cashless will only continue accelerating in 2021 as we offer more services and forge more enterprise partnerships that are relevant for many consumers. Initiatives are supporting the goal of BSP to increase the share of digital payments to 50% of all retail transactions and 70% of Filipino adults in the next 3 years as part of its digital payments transformation roadmap. E-wallets are going to take center stage. With the whole country combating the spread of COVID-19, Filipinos turn to the Paymaya e-wallet And according to the latest e-economy SEA report by Google, Temasek, and Bain, the average number of cash transactions has declined from 48 to 37 even after COVID-19. This means that the cashless transaction is a permanent way of life by Filipinos, with a consistent triple-digit growth rate throughout 2020 and even registering over a 10x year-on-year growth compared with the same month in 2019. Everyone using PayMaya are sending money to their friends and family, paying bills, purchasing mobile prepaid, a part of their everyday financial transaction. And so the government has tapped PayMaya to help disburse financial aid, especially the 4.5 billion pesos of aid, accounting for hundreds of thousands of beneficiaries nationwide. This is actually a bit similar to what happened to Square in the US, because Square was tapped to be the one handling the stimulus bill. So they were the ones sending to a lot of Square through the Cash App. These measures include the Social Amelioration Program under the Bayanihan to Heal Us One Act, through the DSWD and the Small Business Wage Subsidy Program of the SSS, as well as loan programs launched by Department of Trade and Industry and Department of Agriculture. Agree with all of these. So the growth is to reach 12x by year-end as compared to 2019. Merchants pivoting to digital and cashless. There will be apps such as PayMaya Negosyo, PayMaya Links, Digital QR, Checkout, allowing the businesses to quickly offer cashless payment acceptance and even generate new income streams. So meanwhile, restaurants, groceries, pharmacy have also accelerated adoption of cashless payments. Agree with all of these. PayMaya and GCash would maintain their growth post-pandemic. So the accelerating digitization, not just of the Philippines, but actually of the entire world, in terms of fintech, is a positive scenario for all of your companies behind them, even at a very small percentage. So PayMaya is actually a partner of PLDT with Tencent. So yan, tulog siya ngayon, 13.50. The market never really priced in the digital transactions. I think we have yet to see the digital payments, but I think it's gonna be a successful, profitable stream for PLDT in the long run. So let's take a look at your questions, if any. Hello, do you know what triggered Ores ceiling today? To be honest, I noticed the chart was very strong, but I didn't also know why it went to ceiling specifically today. So can't find any. Hi, is APL going to consolidate in the next few days? Any thoughts? Right now, kasi both all the big names are actually in the extended level. So between Dito, Telecom, FA, ASEN, APL, all of them are actually in the extended region. They don't necessarily have to fall, but they don't necessarily have to rise. Maybe even if it rises, there will be some sellers on the way up. So mahirap din talaga to say how it will move at these extended levels. So I'd say that if you are thinking that it consolidates, it is as good as just flipping a coin today. Usually when it's already extended like that, it's hard to predict if it will continue because there is momentum. But at the same time, how many people will also take profits in the event of more violence abroad? So I think like here in the Philippines, we don't really feel the violence and the crime that happened in Capitol Hill last night. But I feel that some people might actually react to that in a negative manner, and they might actually trim some of their profits from the market. Do you think that what happened today is a sign of reversal for SSI? In general, cyclical names worldwide actually rose last night. Worldwide yon. I want to show to you a few things. Let me show to you. Actually today as well, crypto actually broke the $1 trillion market cap. So may continuation of that risky assets, no. Take a look at the value. These are the companies that are really benefiting when the market will recover. Last night, mas malakas pa yan. The designer brands up 11%, Oceaneering up 10%. You know what you should notice with all of these, Macy's and JWN? These performances are on top of a very strong movement already for the month and for the year. So in a way, kasi durog yan din last year. And so I think that the market this year are really pricing in a recovery. So recovery of all of your value names, recovery of your banks, recovery of your energy names. So mapapansin mo actually in the Philippine market, there is a potential to see a resurgence of the battered names. Particularly, SSI kasi is in the retail zone. This is a brick and mortar retailer that has department stores, diba? They have those brick and mortar and department store malls. So in my view kasi, there was a support talaga in 145 and 130 area. This breakout today is a positive sign. Doesn't mean that there aren't resistances at 1.66 or 1.86 or even further. However, the beautiful thing here is that it could be a higher low. These are higher lows in my view. And so I'm more on the bias side that the market really has a healthy correction, but it wasn't really a sell-off that will reverse anytime soon to new lows. At least that's my point of view. Is nasa business world yung news about NLEX. Yeah, thank you, Wita. NLEX. Let's go to business world. Business world online. May news yung NLEX, SLEX. So marami pa ring mga yield, diba? Peso climbs further, facing identity crisis over digital currency plans, now stronger. Actually, this one is important. The fact that infrastructure is truly gonna be a pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, they should actually be very strong going forward. So ito yun. BIR to comply with SCTRO against collecting POGO franchise tax. I think this is the reason why PHR actually rose higher. In a way, it is an opinion. Inflation picks up, DTI slaps safeguard duty on cars. So this one had an effect, of course. The more that you give taxes on the cars, the less likely that people can buy. So medyo may effect yan sa Toyota. But that said, Toyota is already trading at 530 pesos. So some of the people might actually see 500 pesos to actually be a support rather than a case to actually avoid, diba? Corporate. Let's take a look at all the news. Okay. About yung mga media nga pala. So, diba the other day, ito, basahin natin to. Sige. There was a news that, diba there's the plan of Senator Tito Soto to actually revive the franchise renewal of ABS. Hindi natin masyado na pag-usapan yun eh. Nakita ko lang sa Twitter na si Senator Tito Soto. He wants to revive so you've seen the gap up of ABS, diba? It's possible na within next year or within next 6 months, kung talagang magagawa ni Tito Soto ng paraan to, the shutdown might actually be revived, ma-renew. 13 senators, now 14 senators are now backing the franchise approval. So basahin natin to guys, kahit na 2 days ago yung news. At least 14, so majority yan, of the 24 senators are backing the franchise revival of ABS. Senate President Tito Soto said Tuesday. Soto said that the revived issue will call for renewal, which has expired in May 2020. These senators are the following. Senate President Ralph Recto, Juan Miguel Zubiri, Franklin Drilon, Panfilo Lacson, Sonny Angara, Nancy Binay, Sherwin Gatchalian, Richard Gordon, Lito Lapid, Manny Pacquiao, Joel Villanueva, Risa Ontiveros, and Francis Pangilinan. They're saying that the decision to seek for renewal was incensed by the mediocre news programming of TV stations operating. They need healthy competition to be on their toes, and that is my real purpose. When the ABS-CBN franchise expired, also filed a resolution to allow the continued operation of the media giant pending Congress decision on its franchise application. So the fact na may ganyang klaseng news, it will actually inspire a possible hope for the bulls. Just wanted to share na this is what happened in your ABS-CBN. it is a little bit political, I'd say. It's hard to really determine what would happen the next 6 months or the next year. However, you'll notice that ABS-CBN tried to go up from 6 to 15, fell down here to about 11 because I think during this time, walang clarity, and then bullish move again because of this Senator Tito renewal. So you could recall that ABS really tried to petition, even tried to air their shows to other channels, yung Quintanar, something like that TV. But in the end, the likelihood of a reversal here, if it really happens, can actually see it rally first to 19 and then 22. But can this actually become a reversal next year or next 6 months? Kahit hindi next year eh. If matuloy yung mga, how long does a franchise renewal actually, yung mga court hearings, how long does that happen? Is it a year? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? So the risk is actually ABS-CBN will just stay steady here at about 12 maybe. But if you're correct that really the senators who are majority today can actually revive ABS, baka makabalik to ng 19. So from a risk-reward standpoint, I still don't know. Yes, of course, nobody knows. Hindi rin natin alam if 19 ba yan or 24 yan or 30, diba? So I think nobody knows anyway. Pero it's a news that you want to actually be taking a watchful eye in case that the senators are really able to do something about it. NLEX Corporation said it targets the Subic-Freeport Expressway and Candaba Viaduct upgrade projects this year. They hope to complete the first section of the NLEX Connector project this year. These infrastructures are intended to improve the traffic flow and connection, as well as promote road safety. So this is a 1.6 billion peso expansion. It's now 92% complete. It will complement Subic Bay infrastructure program. NLEX Senator Senior Rol said that it will promote the link slabs replacement in Pampanga. So this is a positive thing for the Philippine infrastructure sector. Project is on track. It's actually a positive way to see that MPI, which is the MPI has tollways nga naman, is actually doing and completing their infrastructure foray. And so people would be happy that they're executing this and completing it. So if you are a MPI shareholder, you would be happy with this type of news. So medyo good things happening with the PLDT and MPI business model so far. Sige. Let's see on your other questions. Do you think that ORES increase will continue for the time being? So far, I think when it happened, I think that the 90 cents area might be protected because that was a great breakout from a charting perspective with volume. There might have been some resistance right now at 120, 130 for ORE. So it could actually also falter down. You don't know really with this type of candle, it could actually consolidate back to 1 or it can actually continue higher. It's very difficult, especially since this is the highest volume in the last 3 months, 6 months, diba? So we couldn't really tell, lahat talaga tayong masabi except na, maganda yung galaw niya for the day. Wala tayong mahanap na news except umangat lang siya. Can it fizzle out na from 120, balik ka ng 1? Possible din eh. Pwede rin talaga. So I'm not sure really what's gonna happen here. So usually when it's hard to really determine, those who have it should probably hold on to it if they have it below 1. Similarly, those who have it should be aware na, baka may resistance sa 1.2 and 1.3. Mukha namang maganda yung PHR chart, to be honest. PHR is a breakout in my view. Nagkakaroon lang ng problem right now if matutuloy. But I think it's a minor resistance at the end of the day. You've got these resistances at about 366, maybe may 4 peso round number resistance ka. But the point here is that it is staying above 3 pesos for quite a while now. Makita mo siya in the last 3 months. It has been steady. Konting drop lang sa 280 tapos steady up. The average of this zone is possibly nasa 3 yan eh. So it's trying to break out of this 360, 370 area. First, actually, this is about the third attempt. 1, 2, you could say this was 3, 4. So pwedeng consolidate yan. As long as it's above 3.20 or 3 pesos. Pwede rin kasi mag-consolidate yan ulit, another, parang another correction na naman. But the point is, the fact that it is always staying at a higher low tells you that PH Resort seems to have a little bit of a higher low and may higher demand for these rather than a strong resistance. Malamang may konting resistance na yung 4 na yan or 4.5, pero supported yung mga 3 to 3.30. I think lang. Volume very strong. This one, I think, at least meron siyang discussion on yung mga casinos nga, diba? So, they're doing the, Emerald Bay in Cebu Casino. RCI, what do you think about the volume in 1 month? Yung yung Robinson's Land, continuation lang siya. It's not considered a breakout kasi lang yan, dire-diretso lang. Kumbaga, may conso dito, tapos umangat siya, pwede siya mag-24, pwede siya mag-26. But again, Robinson's Land is a property. So unless you really foresee that the property sector would have a V-shaped recovery, possible din yan na magkaroon ng konting sellers at 23 or 25 if there are people who believe na hindi masusustain yung V-shaped recovery of Robinson's Land. It doesn't mean that it will fall. It just means that some people might actually profit take if it's very high. RCI, I don't know much. Rojas yata to eh. Rojas and Company. Wala eh. If you notice in the last year, parang you just have a languishing thing. Yes, there's volume increases here. Probably there's news on this one, kaya may volume. Since July, tumataas yung volume niya for the last couple of months. So, I'm not quite aware, pero merong buyers. May kita mo may nag-accumulate sa 1.1. Looks like there's a lot of buyers at 1.1. May support talaga yung 1.1. So that's what we could say. Talagang may sumusuporta dito sa 1.1. As to the reasons why, baka have to read straight on the news that they have. Okay, so personally, I'll be happy to invite all of you to actually try to check www.awesome10x.com. We have some features on companies that are rising in the US. There's a lot of companies that are really rising, particularly because the Biden-Harris administration is very clear in their platform that clean energy, whether it be the transition to electric vehicles of the entire USA, to solar panels, to wind energy, and create jobs on that front, that is a clear platform. Similarly, they also discuss legalizing marijuana, which will help the government receive revenues. So those are really major themes that are happening in the US that I believe is very predictable, such that even if there is quite a chaos in Capitol Hill, there are some secular trends that you want to actually be taking a look at, especially if they drop, and take a look at companies that are really disruptive in the sense that these are the Teslas and the Apples of their sector. For instance, Lemonade, which we featured as an awesome 10x pick since 48, is actually we featured at about 48. There was some selling pressure at 70, but even at 120, even if it is 100%, take note that these companies are growing in the realm of about more than 100% growth. So Lemonade was able to actually achieve in just 4.25 years what its competitors managed to do in 20 or 28 or 47 years. They've got 1 million customers and they are an insurance company. So I think that it's important to see that despite how many people are also very, you could see that the market is actually bullish. Take note that Kospi, K-pop, diba? Korea has rallied 100% from the bottom in 2020. It's on fire. What is happening? Low rates, a lot of people buying. And particularly, in my view, it's a lot of liquidity in the market, diba? Negative rates is actually useful for the stock markets in general. So diversify your money globally, especially as the dollar peso right now is trading at about 48 plus levels. So you could actually deposit a few pesos into your dollar accounts and open accounts abroad and see whether you want to invest and accomplish more things in your 2021. We want to invite everyone. Go to awesome10x.com, sign up, subscribe to our Awesome 10x Inner Circle. You could see all of this straight inside our website. We are giving a 2021 discount of 21% as long as you subscribe before February 12, 2021. It's going to be 15,800 pesos. We are also giving a 1 month, after a month, if you decide not to push through, we'll refund your entire 15,800. Well, 15,800 minus 2,000 or 13,800 if you don't finish your 1 year annual course. So it means that if you start February 1, then it's going to be February 1, 2021 until February 1, 2022. So there's a lot of people who are actually seeing the fruits of their investments abroad. You could see that our testimonials are showing, yes, CleanSpark, some 400% moves already. And then Ebon is actually a cryptocurrency exchange that also is a crypto miner. You could see that a lot of cryptocurrencies right now are very strong, and which companies actually have a blockchain exposure that will actually benefit on these movements, no? So there's a lot of money that you can make, indeed, in solar. You've seen it in the Philippines, the power of seeing winners like ASEN and NIKL, which are actually, in a way, beneficiaries of this category. They're winners of the sun power trend. They're winners of the clean energy trend, the sun run trend. So why don't you actually 10x in all the companies in those sectors? Thank you very much, guys. And that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do share Awesome 10x to your friends and family. Salamat po.